Aloha all, this is Samana. This is my 30th podcast. I'm calling this a love tune-up. So, we're close to Valentine's Day. Our cars need tune-ups and regular service, and so does our bodies and our relationships. So let's see what we could deal with this week. First, I'm going to bring up the Chinese New Year, since that was January 26th. We are now in the year of the rat, the metal rat. And basically, each year there are 12 different archetypes of animals. And depending on when you were born, you are one of those animals. And I have found, being a fan of seeing patterns with people, that there are similarities when you're born in a specific year, yet those characteristics are not what make you who you are. There are many factors that make you unique. And again, me being born in the year of the tiger, of course, I have a kinship towards that animal, perhaps because of its qualities, the leadership, mostly the loner, yet will defend my tribe and whoever I'm responsible for to any necessary extent. And I have, sometimes in counseling, it will come up with Western astrology or Chinese astrology or numerology or other things. It's not how I counsel. I counsel in many different ways, but if people want a reference to something a little more esoteric, I can give them that. And it does help with a little bit of self-awareness. I've studied many different systems of patterns and find comfort in these patterns. I refuse to hold someone in a box, and I always allow the possibility of them growing and the continual growth of myself and individuals, and that's the view that I choose to hold and see. And I had a conversation with a dear friend the other day that was around a couple, and he commented afterwards that their communication skills lacked a little finesse, so to speak. Maybe that's a more positive way of putting it. And I reminded him, I learned a long time ago that when we look at what makes a good partnership, it's more seeing the commonalities of day-to-day habits and shared beliefs that become paramount. We can't really judge anyone else from our personal reference of what matters to us, what our needs are, what our standard is. That's not fair to put on someone else. We can, through love, through wanting to be conscious, offer that if they would like a new view or a new way, I'm open to that. I would love to give feedback. But to put our standards on someone else, everybody has a different level of consciousness and a different list of what they came in to learn, I believe. And we aren't aware of what that list is in someone's terms, and where we view that someone may be suffering, or we wish their life was better, or why is it so chaotic all the time. If we see that that person lives that way, and they're now 50, 60, 70 years old, and that's their way of life, that how about just meeting them where they're at? How about just seeing compassionately that they're doing the best they can? That is a form of love, is to accept someone where they're at and meet them where they're at. So when it comes to relationship, it's up to the two people involved, really. Now, I'm a relationship counselor, and I chose that for many reasons. One is my astrology, being a Libra, which is all about partnership and the scales and balance and how one relates and communicates. My Scorpio rising gives me my penetrating investigation, my going to the depth and all of those things. And then my Aquarius moon gives me that ability to detach and see patterns and be curious about that. And in the humanitarianism in me and all of that, without it being so emotional. My belief when I counsel others is more about listening to what their needs are. When they have conflicts, it's always going to be learning how to speak and when to speak in a compassionate way to have a meeting. I don't necessarily believe in gender-based roles in a partnership. I believe in a relationship we gain access, and that person becomes an intimate mirror to us and becomes most valuable and authentic. Sometimes it can be ruthless or relentless of a reflection, but they do show who we are in each moment, regardless if it feels good or uncomfortable. This is what relationship brings to us, or someone that's consistently in our life. I find people that avoid intimate partnerships or close, consistent relations, they're missing out on a valuable personal growth. And we can all maintain a false persona to people that we know socially and superficially and to the masses, yet when we're engaged with someone for prolonged periods of time, that is our mirror, and all of the characteristics, both refined and unconscious, want to come out to play eventually. So commitment to a high quality of showing love by showing up raw and real and saying to another being, I trust you enough to go without my mask, to go without my literal makeup, to go without being perfect today, or when I'm feeling low energy and I'm not feeling so valuable, or if I'm feeling sad or angry, or I'm just not perfect today. And I show up anyways. And hopefully your mirror, your person in your life, is compassionate enough and mature enough to not be critical or judgmental and to accept you, flaws and all. That is a feeling to settle into, regardless of how it all looks at times. If you have those moments where that person can be your support system and you could just be real and not put up any effort, that is a great feeling. So now, to up that dynamic, where there's a mutual agreement between partners, between intimate friends, of when and how to gently point out the more unconscious behaviors. For instance, when you're critical of me when I cook, that makes me feel bad and makes me not want to cook anymore. Or these are a variety of things I've heard through couples I've worked with. Or when you judge the way I dress, I'm insecure about anything I choose to wear because I never hear you say you like something I'm wearing. So now when I talk to the partner about that comment, they're usually shocked and surprised and say, I love their cooking, or I think you're beautiful and love the way you dress. But the filter that we use, because the mirroring is so amplified, it becomes challenging to hear it. It's too loud sometimes. It's too critical. So it's all in how we communicate it. So, for the path to be a committed personal growth for both of you, even when it isn't fun, learning how and when to approach these shadow sides kindly is why I value relationship counseling. The workshop that David Garrison and myself created, we spent over 50 hours of combined information and knowledge of two highly skilled life coaches, both very diverse. And we put this into an intensive weekend of 2 days where there are revelations, there are transformation that will happen, and tools on identifying your blind spots, your patterns, the unconscious parts of you, what you could have shown up clearer for in past relationships. We have no power of wounds from old relationships and connecting with that person and getting resolution, but we do have power to see where we didn't show up or we weren't so proud of our behavior, and how can we be different in the future, either with the same partner and make it better and healthier and more connected, or in a new relationship. So learning to replace these old patterns with appropriate communication skills, we created a relationship contract that you will actually be given, and throughout the 2 days we have time set aside after we do a brief lecture, or we have many process-oriented interactive exercises where you'll sit one-on-one and keep switching off the different participants to work with on specific issues and to different degrees. Like when you have something that's a subtle problem in a relationship, how do you address it? When it's a big issue, of how do you get compromise in a fair way? When it's just a variety of exercises for you to use in checking in learning how to communicate so that both people feel safe. And if you come with a partner to do our workshop, we will switch you up with other people. We will have you do some exercises together, but we found that it's more valuable to partner up with someone that you don't know with an intense, potent issue in using these exercises, so you get used to it and you have both of us as coaches. And it's a wonderful experience, and you feel very supported, very safe. And in our last workshop, every time we had a break, one of my participants was going outside and texting various family members that she wanted to communicate differently, or her ex-husband, or different things. It was quite funny to me. Anyways, it's very valuable, and this is now months later. Our last one was in November. I've heard from all of the participants, and they have found new ground in a lot in themselves, and I love that. I love that it's a continual unfolding. Anyways, okay. So, getting clear and courageous enough to speak your truth, and in a kind way. This is the practice. Like anything, this conscious communication is developing a muscle that we need time to feel its effect, and to feel the unfolding of how we start to see when we say it gentler, when we say it with permission. Can we meet after work and discuss this, hon? This is keeping me from wanting to be close to you, and wanting to be close to you is the most important thing to me. How about saying something like that when you have a big issue that's coming up? So, our next workshop is Saturday and Sunday, March 21st and 22nd from 10 to 5. That is a healthy lunch included. Yes, I'm the chef. I love to cook. I am a healthy cook. And that's going to be in South Austin, and I do have discounted rooms. I've had people come from other countries. I rent on booking.com, and you could contact me directly, and I'll give you a discount on the rooms when they're available. I do book up months in advance, but sometimes we can make it happen. And again, that price is $300 each, or two people for $500. And it could be sisters, it could be best friends, it could be mother and daughter, it could be brothers, whoever that want to do the 2 for $500. Why not? Okay, so adding to my comment about what makes the perfect partnership, it is being evenly matched on enough levels that you feel met and seen. So this is mentally, emotionally, physically, your activity level, your society level, how you like to be in the community, many of those things. Musically, you like to dance, just to have enough levels that you're met, that there is a commonality, and to have the primary intention and commitment to keep it fresh, to keep it live and exciting, keep the sparks of passion lit while adapting to greater connecting skills and communication tools. If you've been together a decade, you just met, or you're ready to go back out there and need direction, join us in our workshop. Okay, so now I want to discuss the topic of love, my favorite topic. There are so many types of love out there. Romantic love, agape love. Agape is the love of God. It's the love of God for man. We have not a platonic love, where it's an emotional connection without any physical expression. We have love towards family, mentors, friends, pets, priests, all of those. Also, we have many ways that love is expressed. We have physical touch, we have emotional heart-based love, we have sexual, we have where we offer protection and support and stability. We have conditional and unconditional love. A conversation that I had recently about unconditional love, I found that what if we replaced the word unconditional love with total acceptance of what is in the moment? This means looking at someone without our expectations of what we want or wish they would be, and have a pure acceptance of who they are and what they are capable of. And that is enough. I've been in a relationship where, when I was less mature and aware, where I didn't feel seen, and the expectations or projections from the other person that they were trying to put on me felt awful. It was a horrible feeling, because I was not the image, and I was aware enough to know they were projecting on me and didn't really see who I was. And it felt horrible, but what I felt, other than sadness and that I wasn't enough, is that I felt like maybe I was too much or too intense, or sometimes I felt something was wrong with me. And why am I this oddball, this alien? Why am I this square peg that never fits in any round holes? I wished I could just be a normal person. I was never a normal person. Today, I tell you how grateful I am that I am not a normal person, because I love my life. Anyways, throughout my life, I often wondered what love was. What is love? And I wondered, will I ever feel that deep committed love from another person that wasn't my family member or that wasn't a friend? Will I ever be someone's beloved? And what I found is someone must have superpowers in order to achieve such a feat, to be able to see me. Maybe it's something that's mystical and rare like a unicorn. Maybe it doesn't really exist. So I began in my 40s realizing that it's possible that I may be alone for the rest of my life until I die. And I had to accept that since I didn't want to be sad and lonely, the only thing that really was within my power was learning to love myself as if I were in love with me. Thinking, what would it feel like to fall in love with myself? How would I know if someone was in love with me if I have never been in love with myself? That is the question. I started making a conscious effort to be totally authentic, just on my own, to throw away every programmed belief and expectation I ever had about how I should be in relationship, and I began living as I am. And because I was alone, I felt free to do that, because it would only be my own judgment, and I would notice when that would come up, and I'd drop it. So, it was shedding of my own false skin. And as I did that, I became happier and freer. I was feeling that my loneliness was being replaced with aloneness, which are two different things. And I couldn't get enough of my own company. There was this power in this excitement that I've never felt before. I've raised my child. I was a single parent. I was responsible for so much staff and my work for so many years. There was my family, everyone in my life that I've always taken care of. And now I just had me. And I found, wait a minute, I could eat my favorite foods whenever I wanted. I could go to the gym whenever I wanted for as long as I wanted because I wasn't going with a partner. It wasn't about his schedule. I could stay for 20 minutes. I could stay for an hour and a half. And I kept feeling all these liberties I never felt before. I could watch my favorite TV show without someone saying I want to watch what I want to watch. I didn't have to compromise in any way. I gave myself everything I needed. If I wanted to sit outside for 2 hours and listen to the birds and listen to my wind chimes, one of my favorite things to do, I could do whatever I wanted. I would spontaneously go to a movie or a coffee shop and just sit there as long as I wanted to. These were all unheard of behaviors up to this point in my life. But this adventure, this tune-up of what is love, this really checking in with myself of what makes me light up, what makes me feel happy. If I were with someone that was madly in love with me, what would be some of the things I'd want to feel? And this is what I started doing. I'd look up interesting recipes on the Food Network and cook them for myself. I was enough. This was big for me because I cooked. I've always taken value in cooking, and I would only cook in Maui. I would cook for my kids or my parents or my friends. We'd have big dinner parties, and unless I had 4 to 20 people to cook for, I would just not eat, or I'd have cereal or something. And I'm like, this isn't okay. I am enough. I could have an incredible meal with scallops and an orange ginger glaze and a nice salad and like heaven. Why not? Okay. So I started meditating more, and instead of just in the morning, if I had extra time, I could meditate 2-3 times a day. If I didn't want dinner, this is big for a lot of people out there that have been in relationships, I could go without eating because I'm just not hungry. Or I always have my famous alkaline broth vegetable soup. I make it every week. It's always in the fridge. So I always have something. If I just want to heat up some soup, it's always there, and it's nutritious, and it's filled with that beta carotene, and I love it. Anyways, what I found was if I was going to live alone forever, let's start really enjoying this life every moment. I could make it exactly what I wanted. And then it happened. My mirror image entered my life through a real person. I initially wasn't attracted to him. He wasn't a bad-looking guy, yet not really the type of man I used to go out with. And more so, I was having so much fun with my own personal exploration and self-love affair that I really didn't want to give any energy to someone else. I wanted it all for myself. It was the first time in my life I was truly feeling selfish, so I wasn't so attached to whatever would unfold. For your information, this is how the universe really works. When you stop looking or needing or grasping or feel there is something missing inside you, that you are not complete and you will only feel complete with another person, that's when you draw in a partnership that is going to be met with expectations and projections and not really seeing that person because you're trying to make them fit in that hole. Where if the holes are filled in your heart and your needs and your being, and there's a deep satisfaction, then the friends you draw into your life and the guests that come to your home and the students and the clients and everyone are so wonderful and so appreciated because it's not coming from a deficiency or a need in you. You actually have that overflowing cup, that excess. And there's not an expectation. There is an appreciation. So, your satisfied mirror image who happens to be another being in your life, let's say they're also fulfilled, because usually when it's that one-on-one, that deep, intimate friend that you draw in, they're usually mirroring exactly to the extent that you have done your personal work. So if you've really done a lot of personal work, you will draw in a person with a lot of personal work. If you've cut corners and if you're blind to some spots, then that person's also going to have those blind spots. So maybe this is a challenge. Maybe to see before you choose to have a partnership in the future, you start doing your own work, your own love tune-up to see what needs to be addressed, what parts feel like a hole that need to be filled, and you find the way to fill them first. So then you will have excess energy, excess abundance, excess, let's call it love, an overflowing cup. I feel so much gratitude for my life that I could only extend that gratitude to anyone in front of me, be it a partner or, as I said, a friend, family member. It's just all gratitude. And thinking back, I remember the exact moment one time I was at the dinner table after eating a tasty meal with my friend, and both of us were sharing new parts of ourselves, who we were, what was interesting to us, what motivated us to make the choices in becoming the beings that we are today. And I remember just glancing at him as he had his head slightly cocked to the side, and we're just very relaxed. And it felt like I was in a movie and some filter was being removed. And I remember like this kind of surprise, because I kind of blinked to look at him because he looked so different in that moment. He looked more radiant and beautiful and attractive than I ever felt before. I found that so interesting. And I wondered, what is this phenomena in that moment? Why did it happen then? Is this what we call love? Is this truth? How many of us are awake enough and blessed enough to notice the moments you totally see someone clearly, purely, and fully? See them, acknowledge them. I believe this is possible and probable with enough sustainability and self-love stored up and reserved within us. When we are stuffed with daily care and love, all we see is love in our reflections. When we are deficient, critical, with high expectations, always needing more, with endless wants and it's not enough, that's a setup for a lifetime of loneliness and suffering. No one and nothing could possibly be enough. How could we ensure this highly desirable state of unconditional love, we question. I have the secret. The key to happiness is fall in love with yourself so others will know how to love you as you deserve. If we have never experienced what love is, how could we be certain we will recognize it when it presents itself? We tend to be driven by past programming and fears, and when we begin trusting ourselves consistently and daily cultivating self-care tools, we will not miss such significant, life-changing opportunities. We will not be trapped in our own spinning minds. Do not let fear of what was be stronger than the present moment where our true power and knowingness lies. So, I do have a little more to add here. My philosophy as a counselor is whatever pain or fear we carry, the answer is always cultivating daily self-care tools, making a consistent routine your priority. Many people have specific areas that they're already skilled at. Either their diet is down, their exercise, they have some sort of spiritual practice or meditation, they're good with communication or their social skills, they're good in business, they're hardworking, yet unless we cultivate all of the levels, body, mind, emotions, and spirit, we are going to fall short and eventually reach a plateau that collapses. So, when we focus too much energy in one area, we're not balanced, and this is a probable occurrence. My specialty is working to customize a program for you that will help you live strongly and with true stability. When we are complete on all levels of our life and reflect this care in career, health, love, purpose, and community, we are living with beauty and radiating our beings with a clear mind and calm emotions. We will suddenly be living a life beyond what we've ever dreamed of, and this will be possible. I offer a comprehensive, multi-leveled program that begins with a 30-day cleanse that eliminates toxins on a physical level. I'll introduce specific journaling exercises, various movements from 1-minute cardio lymph moves to extensive yoga or gym routines if needed. I also offer a variety of meditations, and I demystify it and make it accessible and easy to understand to the point where you'll see the value and the stability that it brings and the witnessing that it allows you to have that buffer where you're not so reactive anymore. Each week I'll lecture 2 hours and take you through the various weeks where we'll do physical, emotional, spiritual, mental, and the last week we're going to summarize all that we've taught, and we're going to each week get into specifically what you need. So I am offering this in-house in South Austin, February 13th, 20th, 27th and March 5th. Those are Thursday evenings from 6:45 to 9. Again, that's $300 or 2 people for $500. I'm only taking 6 people. I have a alkaline soup that I'm gonna serve you every evening, so that's your dinner anyways. You're gonna have 100% 30-day text, TEXT support with me. Any questions you have while you're going through this cleanse, I do offer supplements at a discount to you, which is right around $100. You could do it without the supplements, but I highly encourage it. They're high quality pharmaceutical grade. I've used them for years. And it's personalized coaching in whatever area you want. Now, if those times don't work for you and you want to do this one-on-one, I've had people from different states already doing this, where I do this virtually online, and that is $500. And again, we will do FaceTime, Skype, Messenger for 2 hours a week for 4 weeks while you're going through this cleanse. And I will help coach you. If you want a advanced life coach certification, I call it Total Client Renovation Certification. I have taught the teachers for over 27 years, and I can help specialize whatever areas you need. So, to find our ideal life, we need balance within ourselves first. Once we fall in love with ourselves, our life partner will be there, our life purpose will be there, everything will be available. So this year of the rat promises opportunities to make money in unique and creative ways. Clearing up your system on all levels and being conscious will give you that vision and that view and that purpose you've been waiting for. My most valued benefit is my discipline that offers inspiration and thinking beyond the box. I will comment that my mind is stronger now in my late 50s than it has been my entire life. And I'm happy. I'm just happy every day. There's very little waves in my little life stream, I should say. I don't really have storms. So I'm quite happy, and I walk my talk. So having an overdependency on someone else, be it your partner, your employer, your religions, your politicians, at the expense of your own authority, I am here to help empower you with your greatest resources. Make a self-care routine, a life-changing routine that will benefit you. And may you all have blessings and spontaneous moments of joy. Contact me personally, please, if you have specific podcast ideas, comments, or questions. I thank you for your time. Remember to take a conscious breath in and out throughout the day. If you want to contact me, it's 808-283-7587. You can text me. And my email is Samana, SAMANA, @SPALUNA.com. Thank you for listening. Please share to someone that it may benefit. Blessings and aloha.